Somebody else who had started this truck. The guy got the engine bolted up. There's no wiring harness. Sitting there to the side. That's how I found it. Don't like the way they did it, but that's the way they did it. The panel is where the tank set for the oil injector. If it was me, I would just remove everything off the back. See, we don't have not 1 inch of wiring harnessing, guys. Now you see if I say you take that floorboard off, you have the first is you got to get a wiring harness, put a starter on it, which the engine is sitting there is not helping it, but still. Okay, gang, just picked up a new project scooter. Gonna go ahead and get it home and see what we got. Okay, got the bike up on the table. Let's walk around and check it out. First off, I want you guys to notice something. That is a small case 150cc engine on here. Alright. Now, the guy I picked this scooter up from said he bought it from somebody else who had started this project. It started off as a 2-stroke, and then they GY6 swapped it. And pretty much the guy got the engine bolted up. There's no wiring harness because the 2-stroke wiring harness wouldn't work with the engine. So there's no wiring harness. And the engine is missing a couple pieces. Right now you see the kickstarter is missing. The starter is missing. And look at the carburetor. And the carburetors in there all kind of funky. And off top we can see some problems. Here's some broken pieces that we need to address. But other than that, man, besides the swap, the scoot's in pretty good condition. The paint's pretty good. There's a couple scratches that, I can take care of, no big deal. But yeah, now I do have this engine cover here. You guys notice there is no exhaust. That's because I robbed the exhaust and put it on the Yamaha. We'll look at that a little later. But yeah, guys, I do have the fan before it goes over the magneto. Now the magneto's not really bolted in. It's loose. Because there's no stator. The stator is missing too. Alright, and on top of that, guys, spark plug is missing. So, there's a couple little unfinished things to be done to this scoot. No big deal, but like I say, as you can tell, it's in really good condition body-wise. Alright, let's drop this sucker down and kind of see what's going on up under the plastics here. Pull my pin. Alright, let's drop this bad boy down. Let's see what we got going on up under here. Now all the plastics are just loosely hanging on the bike, so we can just pull stuff off and toss it to the side. Now, first look down in the seat bucket. Yep, there's all kind of things going on under here. Now the seat bucket is broken. And it's not bolted, so we're just going to pull it off. And you see the carburetor just sitting there to the side. That's how I found it. So it's just sitting there to the side. Let's see if we can shove it back in there. Okay. Alright guys, well you see the seat mount. They cut the seat mount to kind of make this high-rise intake they got going on. From a spacer to a high-rise intake. I guess that's so it can clear that bar here. Without all that, it'll be the bowl. The carburetor couldn't fit in here at all. So, alright, I understand why they did it. Just don't like the way they did it, but understood why they did it. That's no big deal. We can take care of that. Now, check out the mount, guys. Now you look at the mount. This was a 2-stroke. Let me show you. This was a 2-stroke scooter. See it right there. Give you guys a little shade. When oil indicator light comes on, add 6 liters of 2-cycle injection oil here. So right behind that panel is where the tank set for the oil injector for the 2-stroke oil. Okay. All right, let's go up here. Let's see how he mounted it. I mean, truthfully, this is kind of ingenious, you know. On this side, he just used the bolt. On that side, he used a longer bolt with some shims. He looked like he used axle shims. See that? Yeah. I mean, so hey, he figured a way to mount it up, and I'll tell you one thing. It is straight. You see that tire? It is dead on. Now the only thing I don't like about how this build was starting to come out with this, whoever started building this, is angle of the engine. It's kicked way up in the front. I would say put a smaller shock on it to, you know, level it out, because I like the, you know, the engine to be level. But this thing already has the world's smallest shock on it, so I don't know. May have to do a shock relocate, something. I don't know. I'll figure it out later, or not. Okay, now the other thing I noticed about this engine is, see how close it is to the battery tray there? There's no way you're doing any kind of valve work with this engine, either in here or without removing this floorboard. But truthfully, if it was me, I would just remove everything off the back. That way I can have full access to the engine. All right, guys. Hope that's a good little walk around. So I guess the only next thing to do is to strip it down. So let's go ahead and strip it down. Okay, it's stripped. Now we got a better view of what's going on. So as you see, we don't have not 1 inch of wiring harness in here, but luckily I left a few things like okay, I'm drawing a blank. The flasher for the signals. We have both of the brake light switches, left and right. It's cool. And over here we do have the pigtail with a wiring harness for the headlight. Yeah, there's a bulb in there. Both wiring harness for both signals. So, and on the tail end we have the wiring harness inside of there for the signals. Oh no, we don't have the wiring harness for the signals. They're both missing on both sides. Oh, well, no big dealie. At least we got the tail light right. I'm sure I can make something up for those tail lights. Alright guys, now you see, if I say you take that floorboard off, you have better access to the engine, well, to the valve cover. Now like I say, one thing I don't like is they chewed up the engine cover, the top cover, to, I guess, make this intake piece fit. Yeah, not really digging that. Not really digging the silicone that they use to make it seal. But you know, to each his own. People do weird things. Let's check this gas and see if there's bad gas in here. Oh no, like they just put gas in this thing. That gas is clear. Now it's not hooked up here to the carburetor at all. It doesn't smell bad. Okay. Alright guys, I think first things first is we got to get a wiring harness, put a starter on it, which I have one in the stash, and get a new stator and see if we can get this thing running, you know, because the guy said he think it needed a new engine. But I spun the motor over with my finger over the spark plug hole. Had good compression, didn't hear any noises or anything, so I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go ahead and just throw some parts at it, get it running. We'll try to get it running and see what we got from that point. In fact, let's go check the oil. I've never done that. Let's check this oil. Let's see what we're working with right here. Oh shoot, it is over full. Yeah, it could be a problem. It is over full on oil, guys, and the angle that the engine is sitting at is not helping it, but it's still too full of oil. All right, guys, I'll be right back in a sec. I'm going to go run and see if I can scrounge up some parts. I'm going to address this seat bracket first, and then we'll jump into the rest of the bike. Okay, guys, got a starter hooked up real quick, and hooked the compression tester up too. I'm going to go ahead and spin this thing open and see what kind of compression we got. We're sitting right about 130 psi. All right, well, got good compression, so I guess we can continue on to grabbing the wiring harness. Well, gang, out of curiosity, I pulled the CVT cover off and found that there is no variator. It's not in the little box nowhere where some parts were, like the fan and the some other pieces. But yeah, I'm glad I got a parts engine sitting over there, but it appears to have a brand new belt. Oh, cheapy power link, but okay. I'm glad we're figuring this out now, but that's not gonna stop us from getting it running. So I got one. We're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna press on. Okay, gang, I'm back from the scooter shop. Picked up a couple new parts. Got a new seat belt bucket, uncut, unmolested. I got a front cover that I was missing. I don't know if I mentioned that. And back in my parts stash, I found a black floorboard. I'm going to swap it out. I don't like the white one because you can see it looks very dingy. We're going to swap it out for the black floorboard. Okay, gang, I went ahead and took the variator and the weights off of the other parts scooter engine I have back there. Belt on, everything, all that under there is buttoned up. As you can tell, we got the starter on from a few minutes ago when we did a compression test. Now, as far as the carburetor is concerned, I went ahead and flipped this sucker around, but I used a clocking flange. I should have showed you this, guys, before I bolted it all on. But I have a clocking flange. Basically, clocking flange has an angle cut at it, so cutting into it at a down angle, so you can put the carburetor facing the other way. Most guys do it on the Honda Ruckuses, but I'm gonna do it on this one. Now the carburetor is still kind of sitting up a little, but when you sit on this sucker, put some weight on it, it goes down flat. Now the seat bracket that he had kind of chewed into, I went ahead and cut off. But now when I put the new seat bracket on, as you're gonna be able to tell that it's not even in the way anymore. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld a bar back across here so I can belt it on. Well, basically to give it strength again, because these pieces here are flimsy. So I'm just gonna weld a bar back across here for strength, so these pieces don't bend down as you sit. But yeah, guys, that's where I'm stopping right now, because my boy over at the scooter shop, he has the wiring harness for this, for the 4-stroke version of this. This bike comes in a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke. He has the 4-stroke version wiring harness, so I'm going to wait to him to locate it and give me a call back later on today or tomorrow, and then we'll come run wiring harness. We already got fresh gas in the gas tank, so that's a win. I'm definitely going to have to get some longer vacuum line and fuel line to run to the carb, since the carb is facing the other direction now. All right, gang, well, I'm about to go on in the house, man, and use me standing out here. Can't do anything else for the day, and I'm going to relax. So when he calls, we'll resume the video, but it all's going down in the same video. So I'm just going in the house, guys. I don't even know why I'm telling you that. All right. Okay, I'm back with some parts. I got a brand new wiring harness. As you can see, it's for a Tao Retro, which is pretty much this bike. This bike came in 2-stroke and 4-stroke. This is the 4-stroke harness. Alright, I got the hand controls for it. Now I only have one problem with the hand controls. This hand controls plugs right in, it's ready to go. But there's no plug-ins for this hand control, for the left side headlight hand controls. I mean, they're different. And I'm thinking maybe it's just the plug-ins, but and again, gonna have to go back and holler at my boy, because this is the headlight harness, the blue, green, and white plug. And this harness here very much could be for one for here, but they're 2 female ends. So I don't know. We still gonna run with it, because maybe he just grabbed the wrong one. Don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and string the wiring harness. I already got my zip ties out so we can secure it to the frame. Alright, I'll show you guys I got a brand new stator on here too now. I went ahead and installed it. Just gotta tighten it down. I'll pull it off real quick and let you guys see it. 1 second. Alright, so we got a brand new 8-pole stator. So we're good on that aspect. Get this magneto line back up. There we go. Put my washer back in, put my bolt on. I'm gonna go ahead and get my 17mm and tighten that up in a second. But alright guys, just want to give you a quick update. Oh yeah, and went ahead and put a coil on. And I just got to go find a spark plug real quick, which I have a couple in the stash. I just got to get that adapter for my compression tester out of there. Alright guys, but we got the parts. I think we got enough to make it run right now. I'll be back to you guys once the harness on. Alrighty y'all, I got the wiring harness run and everything is great. You know, I got my tail light wires, signals left and right. This middle is tail light. This is a signal here. I got my stator wires. I got my choke wire for the my bad y'all. Choke wire for the carburetor. Even got my fuel sending wire. Everything from the back of the bike all the way up to even the voltage regulator is correct. Alright, I do have a problem though guys. I didn't realize it, but these hand controls came from a bike that had drum brakes in the front. It just dawned on me that this is the wrong wiring harness. No big dealio. You know, I'm not even going to take it back. I'm going to go ahead and keep it because I run into all different types of bikes all the time. I actually have a drum brake set up on a part scooter around there that I can use it on another bike at another time. Yeah, so I guess now guys, I'm at the point where I'm just going to go ahead and probably stop right here and use the park bike that I got. Use the wiring harness from that, because I mean it has both harnesses, everything is still hooked up. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to keep this bike pretty much the stock, you know, stock just with a 150, you know. But now I'm seeing that I have the wrong harness. I can go back and have him dig through his piles and piles of harnesses again, but I ain't gonna do that to Shane. So I'm just going to go at this point, just pull out the old parts bike and strip the harness off of that one and put it on here and just be done with it, because this one has hydraulic brakes up front. So yeah, and they work, so I don't even want to mess with that. So right now at this point guys, I'm about to wrap this sucker up, because there's a storm coming. It was raining pretty good this morning. I thought it cleared up and it was gone, but nope, the chill in the air was letting me know it's coming right back. So alright guys, I'm gonna resume this tomorrow, cover this bike back up and get out of the weather. Okay y'all, I'm back. It's about 2 days later. Go ahead and get you guys updated to the progress I have made in the last 2 days. Well, yesterday, because the day before I didn't do nothing on this bike. Alright, I went ahead and got the wiring harness off the parts bike, and I got it on pretty much, and this thing is running. I mean, it was just that simple. The engine is good. I mean, it is good. Let's walk around this side real quick. All right, you can see my wiring harness in there. It's all plugged into the stator. My lights for my tail light back in the back there. Coils all hooked up. Got the cover over here on the other side, but I'm gonna have to get another cover because the new fan well, the new cooling shrouds that I have on here, they don't quite line up. I have a couple different covers I'm gonna go check out, but no big deal, y'all. All right, harness all run. Got the controls hooked up. I even changed out the handlebar, and we have a speedo now. So, yep, she's all plugged in. Got an ignition. Had one that fit this bike in my stash box. Even got the headlight wired in. Just got to come back in here and solder and heat shrink the lines. You know, this tape ain't gonna work, bro. I just wired them up real quick to make sure everything works. All right, guys, let me go get a battery real quick, and I'll fire this bad boy up for you. Okay, I got the battery hooked up. Gonna go ahead and give it a cold start. I haven't started it. So I'm grabbing the pipe. Haven't cranked it since yesterday. So let's go ahead and see how it starts up today. Oh, you know what? I need the key. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I got the key in the ignition now. It's on. Now this switch here, for some reason, it doesn't matter whether the switch is on and off. It'll crank as long as the key is on. So let's go ahead and give her a fire up. Now see, I can't turn it off. Thought it kills her. So I'm thinking the switch is bad on the inside, so we'll just use the key to turn it off. No big deal. All right, guys. Oh shoot, what is she pouring? Have I sprang another? Oh, yep. Sprang a leak, guys. I got to get some fuel line. This is old fuel line I found off one of the parts scooter. It's dry, rotted. This one is funny because somebody actually used a straw or a pin or something. You can see it right there to join two pieces of hose together. Yeah, I just rigged it. I want to hear it run. Yep, but she run, guys, so I guess next step is to straighten that fuel line out, because we're not trying to set the backyard on fire. Now I went ahead and put the handlebars off the parts bike onto this one. It was a GY6. This is actually a 2-stroke bike. These parts came off of too. The only problem I'm having is this chrome piece here won't fit under the leg shield there. So I might just have to take it off, and it fits right up under there. But we do have a speedo. I have a fuel gauge somewhere. I gotta look for it, but it came from the GY6 too. And actually, this leg shroud has the same spot as the GY6 had. Right there. Where is it at? Right there. There's a little plug right here you can pull out to bolt that in. So one thing is, I don't see a spot for it to bolt in here, so I might have to make some type of little deal to bolt that up. Like I say, that's no biggie. All right, guys, I'm gonna take care of that fuel leak, and next thing I want to address is the angle of this engine. You know, I want it flat. So thinking what I'm going to do is I'm gonna build me some like 2-inch little brackets to bolt in the top, put 2 holes in it, bolt the top hole here, lower this engine down, and bolt the bottom hole, you know, down lower, about 2 inches lower where I think this thing needs to go down. So that's the next thing I'm gonna work on before we get to putting the plastics back on. All right, I'll tune you guys back in when we get to that point. Okay, gang, there's been a change of plans. Now earlier you saw that I had the carburetor turned around the other way facing forward with the clocking flange to clear that bar that used to be right here. Well, what I decided to do was go ahead and make a relief for that carb. Basically this U-shaped piece put in here. Now this is an exhaust clamp with AutoZone and got one. And I just basically cut the bar in half, welded the clamp in, so you know it keeps the engine from, you know, twisting like this and that on these hinged top mounts. But also to make sure I kept my alignment of my back wheel, I put these little gussets in They keep the bars from moving, so it's not relying so much on this U piece here. You know, it helps, but with all of this, you know, everything is straight, sturdy, it's no problems. So now what I decided to do is I'm going ahead and go back with that high-rise intake piece they had, because this U bolt joint, whatever heck I want to call it, that I put in is not quite low enough. I should have went a little bit lower, but I didn't want to be welding to threads, you know. So with this piece in and the carb on top, I clear that bar, and the carb sits pretty good if I can get it in there. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Now you see the carb clears it. When it bounces up and down, it's not going to hit the carb. It's back far enough, so we're pretty good on that, guys. Okay, now what I'm going to go ahead and do is put everything back together and fire it back up. Since I've been welding on it, I want to make sure I didn't screw anything up. I did disconnect the battery and the CDI and the stator, so we should be good. But the reason I didn't want to flip the carb back around was, dude, I just bought this piece and I didn't want to cut it, you know? And with the flexing of the carb as it hits bumps, I would have to cut a bigger hole for it to clear. So, yeah, I decided to go a different route, guys. But look, now that now also, I didn't mention, the engine was bolted directly to this point. So, I went ahead and cut a piece of plate metal up. It's kind of thick, it's not weedy, and dropped the engine down about an inch. I could have went another 1.5 inches, but you can look at it, the motor is level now, and that's what I like to see. I like the engine to be level, so when you check your oil, everything is reading the way it should read. All right, gang. Oh, one other thing. Now, I didn't have bolts to bolt the intake down that were long enough. So what I did was I took 2 case bolts. These are 2 case bolts. I cut them off and I threaded them with the M6 threads. Or whatever you call that thread thing. I just put these are M6 bolts, so there you go. They screw right on, no problem. Alright, guys, I'm gonna wire this sucker back up and go ahead and fire it back up. Make sure we didn't screw nothing up, and we're gonna start to put the body back together. And drain some of that oil out of it and put the panels on, give everything a good gussying up, and get this bad boy on off to its next home. Alright, guys, the bike is all back together now. Got all the panels on. Everything is done except for the speedo. The needle on the speedo didn't move. The mileage counter does move, but I took it apart and looked inside, and there's a gear that goes around this, and it's plastic and it's dry rotted and teeth all chipped off. But hey, guys, it is all together. Now, I got the signals hooked up. I got the fuel gauge that I was going to put on my Zuma on here, because it actually come off this type of bike. So turn it on. It's about empty, but you'll see it move. Yep, she's about impote. Yeah, guys, it's all together. We just got to get that speedo and everything. So let's check my blinkers. I got the left ones are blinking. Check the right blinker. And got the right blinker blinking. Figured out the tail light. And we got brake light. Yep. And we have the right signal. And the headlight is all patched in now. Yep, guys, go ahead and check out this carb down here. Now, I'm glad I went ahead and decided to flip the carb back the other way and just modify that stock mount to where the carb could fit. Now, it looks like it is kind of close to that bottom hoop, but as you sit down, it moves away from the hoop. So it's about 1 centimeter in between it and the hoop, but hey, it's all good. It's not touching. Yep, it's all together, guys. So went ahead and cleaned it up. When that speedo comes in, we're going to go ahead and install that. But I guess this is a good stopping point for the video anyway. Now I did decide not to go ahead and paint it. We're gonna call those beauty scratches, you know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like doing another paint job, man. But on the next bike, I'm gonna have to do a full one. I was kind of glad not to have to fully paint a bike for a minute. The only pieces we got painted on here is this panel and the battery cover, because that was tan. And yep, guys, it's all together. Looking good. Now I do have the obnoxiously loud pipe off of the Yamaha on here. I did order a DB killer. It's going to slip in between these two pipes, these two halves here. And I went ahead and changed the oil. I got my 4-stroke oil in there, so I know it has what it's supposed to have in it now, and I feel good about that. But yeah, guys, this bike is pretty much done, and all the panels line up, and I'm loving that. But alright, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my backyard and put everything away and get on in this house. I'll see you guys on the next video. Be safe out there.